our dear viewers, and welcome to the edition of our daily debate, where we are going to tackle Egypt's role in the international and regional arenas and its commitment and participation in many of the international alliances and blocs, and to what extent these alliances and blocs and Egypt's participation in the blocs are helping in our role as regional and international partners for the stability and the security. But as usual, we'll be taking a look at the top stories of the hour. But I would like at the beginning to greet my dear guest in the studio, Major General Ahmad Fahmy, our strategic expert. Thank you so much, sir, for being our guest for
tonight. Thank you for having me. I'm really delighted to be with you today.
It's our pleasure, sir.
Thank you so much.
And our dear viewers, will start with our top stories, where Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting to review the aspects of the private sector participation in implementing the social housing unit in presence of Minister of Housing, Utilities and Urban Communities, Sharif Shirbini. Prime Minister Madbouli reiterated that Egypt paid great attention to empower the private sector and involve it in efforts to achieve sustainable development and benefit from its expertise in various sectors to become the main driver of economic growth. Madbouli confirmed that the government is continuing its efforts to improve the business climate, promote investment opportunities and the investor confidence. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli witnessed the signing ceremony of a memorandum of understanding between the Egyptian Ministry of Health and Population and the Swedish Ministry of Health and Social Affairs, aimed at enhancing partnership in the health and the medical fields. The memorandum of understanding comes in light of the distinguished relations between the two countries and the keenness to strengthen bilateral cooperation through the exchange of expertise and the best practices in the field of public health, which contributes to develop health system and improving the quality of services provided. The Prime Minister affirmed that this agreement also comes within the government's efforts to promote international cooperation in the medical field and benefit from leading global experiences, which enhances the government effort to improve health services and achieve the highest levels of quality and efficiency. Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdulati and his Emirati counterpart Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed stressed the necessity of moving forward with the implementation of the requirements of the second phase of President Trump's plan and supporting the National Committee for Management of Gaza. This came during a meeting Foreign Minister Abdulati held with his Emirati counterpart within the framework of the close cooperation and coordination between the two brotherly countries. Foreign Minister Abdulati reiterated the importance of adhering to the diplomatic channels and creating suitable conditions between the U.S. and Iran to reach a comprehensive and balanced agreement that contributes to enhance stability and security at regional and international levels. And back to the main topic for our discussion for tonight, which is Egypt's role in the international arenas, which is strongly shaped by its engagement with the global alliances and the broad support it receives from the multilateral partners.
Egypt's role in the international arena is strongly shaped by its engagement with global alliances and the broad support it receives from multilateral partners, drawing on its strategic geographic location at the crossroads of Africa, the Middle East and Europe, as well as its long-standing diplomatic tradition. Egypt has positioned itself as a key actor in addressing regional and global challenges. Through active participation in international blocs and multilateral frameworks, Cairo advances its national priorities while contributing to broader efforts aimed at regional stability, economic cooperation and sustainable development. Strategic partnerships with major international groupings such as the European Union, BRICS and engagement mechanisms linked to the G20 have significantly enhanced Egypt's diplomatic and economic standing. Cooperation with the European Union represents one of Egypt's most comprehensive external relationships, encompassing trade, investment, energy cooperation, development assistance and political dialogue. This partnership reflects deep mutual interests across the Mediterranean, particularly in areas such as energy security, migration management, and sustainable development. At the same time, Egypt's growing role within BRICS has diversified its international economic relationships, expanding access to emerging markets, alternative sources of development finances, and platforms for South-South cooperation. Engagement with the G20 relating processes, including invited participation and coordination with member states, have further amplified Egypt's voice in discussions on global economic governance, debt sustainability, and development challenges facing emerging economies. These global alliances have reinforced Egypt's role as a stabilizing force in the surrounding regions. Through multilateral diplomacy, Egypt contributes to political dialogue on conflict resolution, counter-terrorism, and maritime security in the Middle East, North Africa, and the Red Sea region. Its partnerships provided frameworks for coordinated responses to regional crises and support Egypt's mediation efforts, enhancing its credibility as a constructive and pragmatic regional actor. Multilateral engagement thus strengthens both Egypt's security environment and its ability to influence regional outcomes through dialogue rather than unilateral action. And economically, Egypt's international partnerships have facilitated investment flows and cross-border cooperation in critical sectors such as energy infrastructure, transportation, and logistics. Global alliances have supported Egypt's ambition to serve as a regional energy hub, particularly in natural gas and renewable energy, by attracting foreign investment and promoting technology transfer. Infrastructure cooperation, often backed by multilateral development banks and international financial institutions, has improved connectivity, strengthened supply chains, and integrated Egypt more deeply into regional and global markets. These initiatives align with Egypt's national development strategies while also contributing to regional economic integration. Multilateral cooperation is equally central to Egypt's efforts to manage shared resources and advance sustainability development challenges related to water scarcity, food security, and climate change. Through engagement with global partners, Egypt has supported integrated approaches to water resources management and environmental protection. Such cooperation enhances national capacity to address long-term risks while promoting regional resilience in the face of climate-related pressures and demographic growth. The role of multilateral institutions, particularly the United Nations and the specialized agencies, further underscores the importance of international cooperation in complementing Egypt's domestic capabilities. UN-supported initiatives contribute to peace building, humanitarian assistance, refugee support, and sustainable development programming, reinforcing Egypt's efforts to manage complex social and economic challenges. Egypt strengthens its capacity to promote regional stability, foster economic growth, and address shared challenges that no single state can manage alone. In doing so, Egypt not only safeguards its own interests but also contributes meaningfully to broader regional and international stability.
Welcome back, our dear viewers, and starting our debate for tonight with our dear guest, Major General Ahmad Fahmy, our strategic expert. General Fahmy, the alliances that Egypt did join, rather regional or international alliances, how do our participation in such alliances is helping in our role in achieving peace and stability in our region, which is unfortunately facing many crises at the moment?
First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me that opportunity
pleasure,
to talk about this issue. It's granted that Egypt has its role significantly shaped by its participation in global alliance and multilateral framework, which enhance its political position in this area, Middle East and Africa.
Indeed.
And actually Egypt has many contributions with the different blocs, like the BRICS, the G20, the United Nations. However, the United Nations is not a bloc, it's an organization. But Egypt has its role in the United Nations.
Indeed. So one of the main concerns of Egypt at the moment, one of our top priority is the situation and developments in Sudan. And we have seen today also Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati discussing with his Sudanese counterpart Muhyiddin Salim ways to support the efforts aimed at reaching a comprehensive settlement to the Sudanese crisis, which the Foreign Minister did mention many times that it is of great concern to Egypt, and it's part and parcel of the national security of Egypt as well. So how do you see here our contribution with the different alliances and the different partnership with world powers as well in order to try to find a solution for the situation in Sudan?
I think the government and everyone in the government is making or putting a lot of effort in this issue.
Yes.
Because Sudan, it's the southern gate of Egypt, so it's a national security. So Egypt is working on this seriously.
Yes. So do you see here that, of course, it's part of the Sudanese issue is part of the Egyptian national security, and we are rejecting any kind of division or any kind of instability or undermining the sovereignty of Sudan. How do you see our efforts regarding this?
Our effort is trying to keep the sovereignty of Sudan, because the national security of Sudan is a part of national security of Egypt. It's a national security,
of course,
for both of us. So we have to work on this. And I think Mr. Badr Abdel-Ati is doing his effort and doing his best in this issue.
Yes, indeed. Sir, how do Egypt's global and regional alliances institutionalize the political dialogue on security development and the regional stability in a very shaky region at the moment?
To be honest, Egypt had its pivot role in the area, the Middle East and the African continent. It is shaped by its participation in global alliances. The theme of this issue is that multilateral alliances essential tools for advancing Egypt's interest.
So to what extent has Egypt used the multilateral platforms actually to mediate the regional conflicts and to promote for peace building, which is one of our main aims?
Egypt is making a big role in this mediation in the Middle East, especially within the Palestinian issue.
Of course. So how did you see the efforts exerted, of course, by Egypt in order to, that Egypt, of course, did a great role and great contribution to reach this level of peace in the Gaza Strip, and of course we have seen also the border crossing of Rafah open for personnel yesterday. So how did you see this achievement and our alliances and contribution with our international partners to reach this?
From my point of view, I think Egypt is doing her best in this issue, with helping this, passing the gate to the Palestinian.
Sir, of course, Egypt's efforts with our partners in many alliances, like our partnerships with the EU, our partnership and membership in the BRICS, and many regional and international alliances. How these partnership with the different alliances is helping us to reach our goals on the economic and political as well as the security levels?
Actually, cooperation with the EU, it benefits Egypt through enhancing its trade relations and investment flows, attract political dialogue, particularly in areas related to economic reform, energy, transportation, and regional stability.
Yes. In what ways have Egypt's multilateral alliances strengthened its role as a regional stabilizer in the Middle East and in Africa?
The whole universe looks at Egypt as a key player in this region, in the mediation and peacekeeping, and in these issues.
Yes. How do you see our cooperation with the United Nations and our regional partners in the mediation efforts, like what we are doing in Sudan, like what we have been doing with the Gaza peace agreement, and of course the situation in Libya? How do you see our cooperation with our international alliances and partners regarding trying to find solutions for these crises?
We cooperate with this partnership from equality. So we are equal in this, to work with the United Nations and everyone who does this peace process.
Yes. The ceasefire in Gaza has become one of these efforts that succeeded actually in preventing conflict escalation. How do you see this, and how do you see our efforts and our success in our role regarding the situation in the Gaza Strip, for instance?
Egypt tries to mediate this between Egypt and Israel and all partnership and doing their best.
Yes. How do international security partnerships support Egypt's counter-terrorism and maritime security objectives?
In maritime security objectives, we are a part of this. We work against illegal immigration.
Yes. Sir, of course, as partners for many international alliances, how might Egypt's role within the global alliances evolve in response to shifting international power dynamics?
This is a critical issue. How Egypt balance between being a member, giving a relation with global alliance and keeping its sovereignty.
Of course.
So Egypt has to balance this. How Egypt could balance with this? By engaging selectively in alliance and prioritizing national security.
Of course. Of course, our partnerships with the EU has developed to the level of strategic partnerships, and we have seen, of course, the summit which was held last year in Brussels between Egypt and the EU in particular. So how do you see our very strategic partnership with the European Union, sir?
Cooperation with the European Union through enhanced Egypt trade relation and political dialogue, particularly in areas related to economic reform, energy and regional stability.
Yes. How do you see the opportunities and the risks regarding our existence and our participation and memberships in such international alliances like the BRICS and the EU Global South relations?
The BRICS, the EU looks at Egypt as a pivot key player in this area. So they cooperate with Egypt in all these issues.
Indeed, sir, Egypt is not actually going to one direction or having just one direction in its alliances and partnership with one alliance or so. So how do you see this diversification of joining alliances with different partners?
Actually, Egypt tries to diversify its partnership from south and east and so on, especially the south-to-south cooperation.
Indeed. So how do you see the importance of such diversification, south-south cooperation and south and west cooperation? And we are not just having a cooperation with one side or one country or one alliance. We have alliances with the EU, we have alliances with the BRICS, with the COMESA, with different alliances and blocks. So how do you see the importance and the effect of this on Egypt?
As I've said, the diversification of this gives Egypt an opportunity to have many partnerships in different ways and different directions, especially with the BRICS.
Indeed. Sir, of course, not only the EU and not only the United Nations and not only the BRICS, but Egypt also, which is of course one of the countries of the BRICS, we have strategic partnerships with China. We have strategic partnership with many Eastern countries as well. So how do you see here our benefit from such alliances with many of our Eastern partners as well?
From my point of view, Egypt is trying to take the best of every partnership, which is good. Instead of depending on one side, it's diversifying its partnership with this.
What's the effect of such diversification on our economy, on our political contribution actually, and how that alliances with the West and the East is having a positive implication on Egypt?
To make it short, Egypt, by this policy, get rid of reliance on one side. Instead of get independency on one side, it has partnership with every side.
Also, we cannot deny the strong partnerships and the very strong relations between Egypt and our Arab brothers in the Gulf states. So how do you see here the cooperation between Egypt and the Gulf states like the United Arab Emirates, like Qatar and of course Saudi Arabia?
Egypt is doing their best in this relation. It keeps its good relation with every country. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and so on.
Sir, of course, we have seen our participation. We are not a member of the G20, but yet we are very strong partners, and we have seen the Egyptian participation recently in the Davos summit as well. So how do you see our very strong presence in such groupings and such forums like our strong participation that took place in Davos in Switzerland?
If I talk about the G20, the G20 provides Egypt with a platform engaging with world's major economics, influence global economic discussion, and advocate for the interest developing and emerging economics.
Yes. How has Egypt actually leveraged its strategic geographic position to maximize its benefits of the global alliances, for instance, our cooperation with the European Union on the Mediterranean security and the migration management in particular, which we did great in the issue, of course, of the illegal immigration as well?
The Egyptian location, strategic location, gives its importance in this as a key player in the region.
Yes, of course. To what extent do Egypt's global alliances reflect a deliberate strategy of diversification rather than dependence on a single power bloc, as we have been saying? To what extent that was reflected positively on Egypt?
It reflects positively on Egypt by opening economic reform and attract foreign investment in Egypt and development.
Yes. So the first actually EU-Egypt summit took place in October 2025, marked a new phase actually of cooperation, including a $4 billion euros macro-financial assistance program to support our economic reform. How do you see this great achievement from Egypt to reach this very important strategic partnership with the EU, and what message here does it give to the whole world regarding our very important strategic partnership with our European partners?
Simply because of the development of the Egyptian economy. You know what I mean?
Of course.
That is a very important message or indicator that Egypt is on the right way for developing the economy.
So how has our partnership with the European Union, as we have been mentioning, contributed to our economic cooperation and to the political dialogue as well? We are not only having strategic partnerships on the economic level, but also on the political level. We are having very strategic relations with our European partners as well.
Cooperation with the European Union helps development assistance or give development assistance to Egypt and attract foreign investment.
The importance of such alliances for attracting the FDI, the foreign direct investments. How did you see the impact of such alliances and joining these blocs on the investment, on attracting foreign direct investment to Egypt, our contribution and our partnership with Western countries, with the EU, with Eastern countries, China, and with the United States as well. How did you see the effect of these contribution and this cooperation on our economy and on our investment and attraction for foreign direct investment?
Obviously, it gives the opportunity for development of the economic. But on the long run,
what strategic advantage, sir, has Egypt gained from joining the BRICS, and how does this differ from its traditional Western partnerships that we were just talking about?
I think the major point is attracting the foreign investment in Egypt, as I've said, which helps in developing the economic on the long run.
Yes. Of course, the field of energy is one of the most important fields of importance to Egypt and for our partners as well. We have seen great cooperation between Egypt, Cyprus and Greece in this domain in particular. So how do you see such cooperation between Egypt and Cyprus and Greece regarding the field of energy in particular?
I see this cooperation is a quantum leap in this direction, the energy. And the future is for the renewable energy.
Of course. So how does Egypt's engagement, as we have been mentioning in the G20 related frameworks, enhance its role in the global economic governance despite not being a permanent member in the G20 group?
As not being member in the G20, however, it advocates for the interest of developing and emerging economics.
So what evidence suggests that these alliances that we have been mentioning, like our alliances, our partners in the BRICS, our partners in the EU, deliver actually structural rather than short-term benefits for both us as Egypt and our partners, like, of course, all the blocs and the alliances that we have been mentioning, like our alliances with the BRICS, our alliances with the European Union, and, of course, with China, with our strategic partners as well?
Of course. Actually, I'd like to thank you for this question.
Yes.
I have to highlight that the benefit from EUE, G20, BRICS is not individual benefits to Egypt. It's mutual. You know what I mean? If the G20 or United Nations haven't found a benefit from Egypt, they will not cooperate with it.
Yes. We cannot be talking about our alliances, our partners, our membership in blocs, without mentioning, of course, Egypt's alliances with Africa. Egypt have strong alliances with many African countries. We are members, of course, of the BRICS, and which is joined as well by South Africa. So we are members of the COMESA. So how do you see the partnerships here between Egypt and our African brothers?
It's vitally important to cooperate with African countries who live in the same continent. And they need Egypt, and Egypt needs them.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Sir, how effective is the international cooperation in facilitating actually our cooperation in many domains, in the investment, in the energy infrastructure development, in the technology transfer, and of course the technology now is playing a very important role as well. So how do you see here our cooperation with our different alliances partners in order to facilitate many cooperation in different domains and fields like the energy infrastructure, the technology, and other domains as well?
This supports sustainable development and enable cooperation in critical sectors such as energy, infrastructure, and water management, which is very important.
Yes. Also, we have to mention here the importance of our cooperation in the field of security. We have seen our cooperation also in the field of security of navigation, the maritime security, especially. We have witnessed many challenges regarding the navigation in the Red Sea because of the previous attacks by the Houthis, and we have seen also cooperation regarding many fields like the illegal immigration, which we did have with the European Union, and Egypt was a great help for the European Union as well regarding the issue of illegal immigration. So how do you see our cooperation in the field of security, which is of course of great concern to you yourself as a strategic expert?
This point that you have raised circle back to the point that Egypt is not only benefit from European Union or any bloc, it's mutual.
Of course.
So Egypt works hard on this immigration or illegal immigration, and comes on top is the counter-terrorism, which helps the whole world in this.
Yes. So you have just mentioned a very important point, counter-terrorism. It's one of the topics that always tops the agenda of our talks. Of course, Egypt is rejecting any kind of terrorism, and of course we share our experience, and we support our brothers and our partners regarding facing this very important issue, which is counter-terrorism. How do you see our cooperation with our strategic partners regarding this very important field?
From my personal point of view,
of course, we have great experience in that.
From my point of view, personal point of view, I'm not evaluating this, but I think Egypt gets rid of terrorism in ideal time. So I think the whole world looks at Egypt as a role model in counter-terrorism.
Yes.
Because we have get rid of this.
So how do you see here our partners and our cooperation with our partners in that domain of security? As of course you have just mentioned that Egypt have been through a lot, and we have great experience regarding the domain of counterterrorism and security, and how we did succeed actually in protecting our shores from the illegal immigration, and of course the numbers of illegal migrants to Europe did drop to a great extent thanks to our efforts. So how do you see here our efforts regarding that very important point?
I think Egypt transfer or share its experience in these issues, counter-terrorism and illegal immigration.
Indeed. Major General Ahmad Fahmy, our strategic expert, thank you so much, sir, for being our guest.
Thank you once again, and for the viewers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Our dear viewers, with that we come to the end of this edition of our daily debate. Till tomorrow with another crew. Many thanks for watching.